Hey, what's up tech dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Now chances are that if you're a gamer, you're going to be looking for a good gaming mouse. Now there are all kinds of gaming mice out there in the market. Some of them have just a whole ton of programmable buttons. So if you're playing those games that have a lot of spells and involve, multi-clicking buttons, a lot of people buy those particular mouse because they're great for doing that kind of stuff. Other people don't really use that many buttons. They play first-person shooters and they only need just a few buttons, and what's really more important to them is the accuracy. So today we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting product from Cougar. This is their Surpassion gaming mouse. And what's interesting about this is you can change the DPI from 50 all the way up to 7200. And you can do this all by seeing on a little LCD screen on the back. So you have one button to the left of the screen. This is for doing all that type of stuff. And to the right, you have one. This is for your polling rate, for liftoff, and for angles. So if you want to do programming, all that stuff, you can do it right here. Now, as far as programmable buttons, this is one thing about this mouse that I'm just like, okay. It's 44 bucks, but there's no programmable buttons. Now there are a total of 5 clickable buttons, 2 on the left-hand side, 2 on top, and the scroll wheel also has a clickable button on it as well. Now that's very, very limited. And the fact that you can't program any of those whatsoever, to some people out there, this might be a big thing and you're going, hey, that's a caveat I can't live with. I need something that I can program. But for other people, they're not going to care whatsoever. Now, one thing about this mouse as well, if you have a small hand, this mouse is going to be very perfect for you. This mouse to me is actually really nice. I have a medium-sized hand. I don't have a large hand or a small hand. And for me, this is very comfortable. It's a little bit small, but somebody who has an even smaller hand, I think will find themselves right at home with the comfort level, of this mouse. And the optical sensor on this mouse is also pretty nice. It reads on just about any surface. It'll read on this plastic, it'll read on a book. So no matter where you're gaming at, pretty much you don't have to worry about taking a mouse pad with you and getting it to work. Now, obviously, some of those nice mouse pads they have out there will probably be able to read a little bit better. And if you're a professional gamer or someone who takes your gaming, that seriously, you're probably going to want to get something that actually matches up with it for the absolute best performance. But like I said, if you're on the go and stuff like that, it'll still work wherever you're going. One thing to point out, however, and this is definitely a caveat in my book, is even though there's a cool LCD screen for you to read all the DPI, when you're playing your game, you really don't want to have to pick up your mouse and start clicking a button in the middle of your game to get the DPI that you want. It would have been better, actually, if they had the LCD screen on top and with a button on top so that you could click it on the fly. That's one thing that I think some gamers are really going to take notice and be like, what the hell? What good is that? I mean, it actually is a really cool idea, but I think it would have been much better implemented if it would have been on top. Now the button on the other side of the LCD screen, this controls 3 different options. It controls your polling rate. It has available settings from 125 all the way up to 1000 Hertz. Another setting is something interesting called angle snapping. Now, angle snapping can make normal computing tasks, like web browsing and those kind of stuff. It makes it easier, but it also messes with your aiming in first-person games. So with this particular feature, you can turn it off to make sure you're getting the best headshots you can get. And the last feature is called LOD, or Liftoff Distance. Now this feature allows users to define the height at which the sensor will stop tracking. What this means is that users who have big mouse pads and they constantly lift the mouse pad to recenter it, they can avoid undesired tracking by setting it on low. And for those users who lift the mouse slightly when they're aiming, you can set it on high so it'll keep following their movements. And if you're wondering about durability, the Surpassion has a 50 million click warranty. We all know that right now, RGB is the craze. Everything's RGB. Hell, I think my underwear are RGB. Let's look. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, right here on the button down below, the little scroll wheel, there's a button right here, and you can change it to 13 different modes as far as the colors go. So as far as having backlights and all that stuff, you get 13 different choices of what you want the mouse to look like. Honestly, overall, this is a very, very simple product. There's not a whole lot to it to even bring to the table to review. One thing to take note of though, if you're playing games and you're playing games for hours on end, you definitely need a mouse that's not going to hurt your hand, make your wrist ache, make your fingers feel weird. You're like, going like this with your hand going, it's aching. As far as comfort level goes, this is extremely comfortable. Now, like I said earlier in the video, if you're somebody who has really gigantic size hands, I probably would not recommend this mouse. Also, if you're someone out there looking for a mouse that you can program, also something else you might want to not consider with this mouse. But If you're looking for something that has accuracy, like I said, from 50 all the way up to 7200 as far as the DPI goes, that's a large spectrum. I mean, honestly, when it's at 7200, to me, it just looks like it's flying like a bat out of hell over the screen. I can barely keep up with the thing. So why they have it set that high, I don't know. Maybe just some people are really that good and can do that. But to my eyes, matching the screen, sorry, that's just way too fast for this kid. But this thing is like 39 bucks at Newegg, or it's like $44 over on Amazon. There are a lot of different gaming mice, however, that I feel out there that have these same type of features. What you're probably going to be getting with this particular one is that it's made very well. It doesn't feel cheap whatsoever. Like, you can tell when you're holding something in your hand and it just feels like junk. This doesn't feel like that. There's a nice little rubber grip right here underneath the button. So if you're just in gaming and going and shooting things up, you've got a nice little rubber grip on here. The buttons are very easy accessible above it. So if you just had a couple things in there, you know, set up for your bombs or your grenades, whatever, you can have it set up that way. You can do all that in game. It's going to be just great. There's also on the other side the same type of grip. So when you're holding the mouse in your hand and everything, as far as the grip and all that goes, it's very, very nice. And like I said, it'll work on just about any surface. If you want the absolute best, obviously a gamepad is going to be the way to the go. You know, excuse me, going to be the way to go. But that's pretty much it. I mean, the Surpassion is priced at about, like I said, about $40. So if you're looking for something that won't break the bank, has accuracy, and is very comfortable, then hey, you might want to check this out. Few caveats, like I said, no programmable buttons, and if you got a giant size hand, you're not going to want to get this one because it's just too small for those giant size hands. I'm Mark. You guys have been watching Tech of Tomorrow. Like usual, all the information about this product will be down below the like button. So we'll see you guys back in the channel for more tech tomorrow.